Okay, it's wet, it's windy, it's cold, and it's pretty damn miserable here at Eswell Golf Club, but wrapper's coming off. Time to get down and dirty with the M4 driver from TaylorMade. Let's see how this one gets on the course in the hands of the average golfer. Second tee at Eswell. Absolutely stunning to look at from the top line, the M4. I really like the look of this. Okay, now as with the M4, it's wrapper off time. We're going to go straight into this for literally first hit. M3 fairway. Now don't forget, tech spec will be coming to you very shortly, and the acoustics will be slightly different because they're going to be filmed in the warmth of my office. I'm not doing it here, it's freezing. So, let's not cause a mess to the course. Movable weight in the track bar here, which is we've seen introduced in the M1 version of this club last year. Draw and fade bias. This is a 3 fairway, it's 15 degrees, and I've got it set up as standard. I think pretty much it's very similar in looks from what we've seen from the M1, apart from that silver bar as opposed to white. And this is interesting for me because I actually game the M1 at the moment. For me, it's been a very successful club in a bag. It's long, not as forgiving as what I expect to see from the M4, which I've just hit. That's more, I think, it's distance packed with a bit more forgiveness across the face, but will be interesting to see. More compact head. I'm going to freeze to death if I sit here much longer, so as ever, let me go and hit a golf ball. Once again, like I said, slightly more compact head, but really nice to look at from the top line. There's nothing wrong with that. It was slightly out the toe, and you can just see that. I don't know if you can pick that up. I'll bring it to you again. But it's slightly out the toe and produced a slightly left to right shot, but without losing too much distance from where I'd expect to be. So that's the first thing. That'll be an off-centre one to start, which is something that the average golfer will do quite often. So I like to see how that does, and it's we'll see from the shot trace, it's more than got out there. Now, one thing I do want to say is, in some ways, the reason I love doing testing golf clubs is this new idea of getting them out on a golf course. And that's not necessarily for the reason you think. You think it's for the benefit of you. It's not, it's for the benefit of me, because, believe you me, I'll be sat in my office in the warmth if I didn't have to do these videos. Trust me, it is way too cold to be out playing golf, but it's forced me into getting out on this lovely sunny day, even though my hands are frozen, because I've got to test these clubs to deliver some information to you. So that's one positive from YouTube. Anyway, I've got both clubs. I'll tell you what I want to talk about. Really stupid thing is the head covers. I love these. They're easy on and off, and they stay on and they come off dead easy. So hats off in terms of the head cover. Never ever mention them. I'm going to hit 2 balls off this tee. You've seen the 5th at Eswell on a number of occasions. I did the I do a lot of the drives off of here. It's stroke index 1, but in fairness, it's normally into a prevailing wind, but it's a nice wide open fairway. So I'm warmed up and loosened up a little bit. It's time to give these two things a bit of a bash, and let's see if I can get a couple of good balls out of the middle. There's not a lot of difference in terms of looks to separate them. As you'd expect, slightly bigger profile in terms of the M4, slightly longer, deeper face. But from the top line, I don't think there's masses of difference really, but I would say from my perspective, I'm getting a little bit more confidence with the bigger M4 sat behind the ball. I'm going to hit these, and I'm going to hit a couple off the fairway and see how easy it is to pick this ball up from tight lies, because so far, everything's been from a tee. Okay, so next part of the test is from the fairway. We're going to sit both these balls. I think, I mean, a 3-wood off the fairway, tight lie, is a shot where you need plenty of confidence, and you need to gain that confidence first of all, obviously from your own capabilities and ability, but you also need to see a nice club sitting behind the ball, one that you feel as though you can clip that ball cleanly off the turf with a fairway wood. Both of them, again, it's just about which you prefer in terms of footprint. Like I said, that M3 just a little bit more compact, probably suits my eye, to be honest with you, for this type of shot. But again, for other people, the larger head size of the M4 might just inspire that little bit more confidence. But anyway, that's how they look at address, but let's go and see how they perform off this tight lie on the fairway. Okay, that's me finished out on the course. Now it's time for some dry ball data, so quick, let's jump over to 4 Golf in Chester. Okay, so back in the morning for the office, although I've got to say it's Monday morning. I've been testing at 4 Golf for the dry ball data on the 2 clubs this morning, and it's a lot warmer than it was on Friday when I was out on the course doing the on-course testing. So, no more waffle. I think let's get the numbers thrown up and see what we achieved in terms of so a bit of dry ball data. Trying to achieve, got 3 shots with each. Throw up the M4 first of all, so here's the numbers coming up for you now. So club head speed remained fairly constant, 91.4 mile an hour, ball speed of 137.9, which again, it's noticeable again, ball speed in relation to club head speed is very, very good. On a lot of these clubs I've seen in these past few weeks, there's been a noticeable difference, an increase in ball speed in relation to club head speed. That's something to very, very interesting, what I've noticed on a lot of clubs lately. Spin rate 2964 on a 3-wood, more than happy with that. Carry distance of 216 on average. Like I said, very good smash factor. The ratio between ball speed and club speed, very, very good again. Total yardage in and around the sort of, well, whatever, 235, 240 mark. That's the M4. Right, into the M3 coming at you now. Again, 91.5 mile an hour. So very, very consistent swinging in terms of club head speed. Ball speed 138, so slightly faster ball speed, and we're talking minute in terms of on the M3. Spinning at 2.9, once again very similar. 217 carry, there's just a yard in it. Smash factor superb, there'll be lots of comments about that. And 240 overall carry, which again, a couple of yards different. Launch 12, launch 11, and that's the numbers done in terms of dry ball data. Very, very small example of hitting. I struck the ball well enough. I was missing the ball to the left, and we'll show the groupings in a minute. And the launch angle, again, what I don't know, I think it does happen in most instances, to be fair. I've not seen anything glaring between dry ball data and out on the course, because the first thing, and you'll see from the shot tracers, is that the launch on the M4 was a lot higher than that of the M3, and straight away there's almost, what is it, 12.1 as opposed to 11.3, so there's a big difference in launch angle, which was visible in the driving range this morning, and also visible out there on the course. And I think that's one of the things to note, is that this is very much about, once again, fitting, choosing out of these 2 which one is probably best suited to you and your game. Once again, look at the fairway shots that I played. I suggested that I liked the smaller compact head of the M3, and I did, sat behind the ball, but in terms of performance I found the M4 a lot easier to pick up. It suggested, once again, a bit more higher launching, which allowed me to pick that ball up clean. The M3 shot from the fairway, again, I sort of try to sweep them off the top, and sometimes it's a squeeze, sort of slightly left to right shot. And I think where the M4 kept the ball with a decent straight ball flight, I've certainly seen that left to right curvature from the shot that I played from the fairway with the M3, and I also seen it from one of the tee shots. I can't remember the second one that I played. It's about levels. I mean, I think to be fair, my own personal thoughts on this is quite simple. I think the M3, and I think it's designed this way, is probably suited to the better player. M4 definitely seems to have a little bit more forgiveness, the bigger profile in terms of the head, and overall for me, out of hitting the two, which one would I buy? It would be the M4 hands down, even though previously I was an M1 user of the, I think my M1 is from 2016, the first type that came out. It's all round just seems to be, like I said, and it's very hard. These are very small tests. We're in limited shots out on the course and with dry ball data. It's trying to give you as much feedback as I possibly can, but it's limited in terms of test. If we look at the spread now on these shots between the two clubs there in dry ball data, you can see there's absolutely nothing between them. So it's down to the performance of the clubs are almost identical. They get there in slightly different ways. But ultimately, it's that thing about I can relay what I felt in terms of out of the clubs and what I felt, but that was in my hands, both on the course and in the range this morning. Whether that then relates back to what you'd actually find out or watch other reviews and see if there's similar sort of feedback, then that's another thing. I can't vouch for anybody else other than what I've seen. But in summary, M4, higher launching, bigger sweet spot, bigger profile. M3, more compact, lower launching, possibly out the middle, just that bit more of a powerful club and a lower, more penetrating ball flight. So I would say it's very much personal preference, as we do with all these things. One thing of note just before I do finish is the sound and acoustics to these clubs. I took my M1 3-wood in this morning just to hit a few balls, and in all honesty, in terms of performance, they were very, very similar to the M3 and M4. The bigger things are things like the sweet spot. If I didn't quite get it out the middle, there's definitely a bigger sweet spot in the M3 and M4. But one also noticeable difference is the improvement in acoustics on these two clubs. It's a lot better sounding club, like I said, for me anyway. But these differences are small and difficult to measure. But what I will say is that, once again, it's hard to be critical of these clubs. I mean, at the moment, it just seems to be that manufacturers are bringing out some quality product. It's making the game potentially more enjoyable for us average golfers. I've certainly enjoyed hitting the clubs I have done in the last few months, and yet again, this is another pair of decent fairway woods. And if you're in the market for them, but only if you're in the market for them, then they're worth having a look at and giving them a try. Right, I think that's it. Another review over for the average golfer. Take from it what you will. Hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did. Any questions down below of anything I've possibly missed out? I've tried to, like I said, cover in terms of going out there, out on the course and giving you some feedback from a real environment and also the dry ball data. I'm not sure. Throw my opinion in as well, and there's not much else I can do, I'm afraid. So hopefully that's enough for you. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up, like, whatever it is, subscribe, do all them things, and I'll see you very, very shortly on Upload TV, because there's still plenty more videos to come at the minute. There's products coming out from everywhere.